Alright guys, so yesterday was kind of an interesting day for me and some friends. We decided to drive technically out of state to the regional in Shreveport, Louisiana. And honestly, I had gone originally just to go for trades because, you know, at regional there's a lot of vendors, there's a lot of collectors and traders there, just really cool stuff you don't see too often, and that was like my whole intent of going. But since the regional was super small, like originally we were driving around trying to figure out where's the event at, where's it gonna be at, and turns out it was like some like weird like public park, had its own like recreational gym with like an indoor and like basketball gym, workout equipment, stuff like that. Like we pulled up and thought it was like a high school gym or something, and we were just like blown away by it. It's like, well, that's where they have to have regionals, I guess that'd be the place. But we walked around, talked to a couple people. We figured out it was the event because there were other people in the parking lot with like Ultra Pro binders and stuff. And of course, you're driving around in the middle of nowhere in Louisiana, and you find a bunch of people sitting out in the parking lot of the place you think might be where the event's at, and they all have Ultra Pro binders. You figure that's probably where it's at. But seeing as how small it was, only like 100 people, I literally got talked into playing the event last minute. And I figured why not I'll play with ABC, since that's, I guess, like the main deck I've been playing around with recently. And I figured I'd go ahead and show you guys like my deck, like the deck I played with, of course the extra deck and then the side deck. And also something cool I want to show is that actually Yugioh was there, and I got him to sign my Maximilian Pegasus character card. And he thought this was really cool because he really likes those character cards. They said like if you can get full sets of these, people on eBay actually pay like hundreds of dollars for these just because they're so cool looking. But yeah, that was kind of pretty cool getting one of my favorite YouTubers to sign a card for me at a regional. And then also show the side deck, but the side deck was like literally thrown together last minute, but it did kind of work out. We'll talk about like I guess the matchups, because I did end up dropping there were 8 rounds. I ended up dropping X3 afterwards, just because I honestly was like super tired and just wanted to go back to trading, and was like playing a lot of like really weird stuff. Like the one matchup that did stick out to me was I played against the guy that was playing Metaphys. Like we were signing up for the events and we legit saw this dude walk around in like a mini skirt and like anime knee-high socks. We were like, okay, this dude's like a trap or something. I ended up playing against that dude and he was actually really cool. Just kind of like a walking meme lord. But what ended up happening was I played against him. He was playing Metaphys and he sided in, so I said alright, and he chose to go first. So he activates pre-prep and I'm like, okay, what rituals are you playing in Metaphys? He ends up searching Fortress Whale's Oath and Fortress Whale, and he summons it in Metaphys, and like I was laughing so hard and people around me were like, oh dude, he actually got it off. And after I beat him, I was like, why are you playing Fortress Well in there just to flex on people and show that you have a $200 ritual monster? He said, yeah, pretty much, and plus it's 23-15, kind of hard to beat over, but his ending field for that turn, just for fun, was to cowboy me and summon a Fortress Well that normally I couldn't run over. But I ended up summoning Dragon Buster, and he was like, I swear if you banish my Fortress Well with Dragon Buster. I said, don't worry, I won't. So I used Dragon Buster to banish his cowboy and then run over Fortress Well. That was kind of fun. So I think a couple people actually got profiles of his deck before the event was over, so I'm pretty sure Yugioh was one of the ones that got it. There were a couple other people there, like Team APS. I think Scrubs for Hire was there also. There weren't really like a whole lot of YouTubers there just because this region was like kind of out of the way, but you can probably be on the lookout for those guys. Videos later on that crazy Metaphys deck, but the rest of the matchups are just like mainly I guess meta-relevant decks and a few rogue. So first off for the monsters, of course we're playing 3 A's, 3 B's, and 3 C's. A lot of people play only 2 C. But personally I prefer 3 just because you want to make Dragon Buster as quickly as possible and you want to see as many of the pieces as quickly as possible. Just for consistency reasons. Then of course we're also playing more standard ABC stuff. 2 silver, 2 gold. Yeah, really no explanation why you play as an ABCs. Gets your combos going, gets your pieces out of hand, triggers Union Hanger if you have it. And then since we are playing the Destrudo engine, these are our 2 Ravine targets. Of course Destrudo, it makes Fairy Dragon, it makes Black Rose, it makes the one spicy tech I'll show in a little bit. And of course, Dark Worm. If you have like one of these in hand with a Ravine, or you have like Ravine and Foolish Burial, then you can make a Fairy Dragon without using your normal summon, which is pretty cool. But it kind of sucks that this guy's a Pendulum monster, so if you like synchro with him, then he goes back to the extra deck, and then you can't really do anything with him at that point. He's just dead card, but he's just there for getting your combo started. And then, since we are playing in a format with spirals, you do have to play a lot of hand traps to combat going second, so playing 3 copies of Ghost Ogre. Thankfully I got my 3rd ulti at the event. Reason being because I decided to play last minute. I got my 5 entry packs, opened them, ended up packing, what was it? Like, the only noteworthy cards I got, Baguska, which was like low-end trade bait. Got a double Helix, ended up trading that off, and then pulled an evenly matched, which was pretty crazy. But I ended up trading the evenly matched to a guy for ulti Ghost Ogre and $10, so got my playset completed at the event, which is pretty neat. So, and then also we're playing 2 copies of Effect Veiler, and then the 1 Max C because I don't have Ash Blossoms right now. But these hand traps did work out alright. The Effect Veiler actually came in clutch against a guy I played against. I was playing Tellarknights. He was pretty cool, and he kind of shared my philosophy on it's better to play fun rogue decks at these big events and catch people off guard than just have people expect to play against like these big meta decks, especially at the small regionals where it's like almost like a big locals in a way. But yeah, these hand traps did come in clutch. Veiler did put in a lot of work. Ghost Ogre as well. Like, I saw this so many times during the event, it was unreal. But yeah, 6 hand traps got the job done. Then for the spells, we're playing, of course, 3 Union Hanger. It's ABCs, you know why you play 3 Union Hanger. 3 Dragon's Ravine. I'm not playing set rotation just because I don't really like it in this deck, because then it forces you to give your opponent set rotation, and in the rare instance you could actually play in the mirror match, which I did play in the mirror match, so I'm kind of glad I didn't play set rotation because of that. But yeah, these are like, they're pretty much just combo starters for getting your Field Spell engine going. Union Hanger's busted. Dragon Ravine, so glad it's back at 3. 3 Terraforming just to search your field spells. I mean, you could play set rotation if you wanted to, but just personally I don't like it for the instance I mentioned earlier, but Terraforming is just Terraforming, it's pretty great. 2 Cosmic Cyclones for back row removal. This really helped a lot against the 2 Pendulum Magician matchups I had. For getting rid of Time Pendulum Wreck, because that card's kind of annoying to deal with, so this gets rid of that. Foolish Burial. There's a reason this card's it's at 1. This deck is pretty great. You can get your missing piece to grave to finish off to summon Dragon Buster. You can get your other Destrudo piece to grave, or Dark Worm. So this card just does a lot for the deck. Soul Charge, because if you make a big board going first, you play this and you make it even bigger. And then Dark Hole and Raigeki for just generic board wipes. And then for the traps, we're playing 3 strikes and a warning. Yeah, and that's pretty much it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck, we got these cool Korean anniversary pack tokens. For those of you who don't know about these tokens, like our anniversary pack that had like the cool alternate arts of like Blue Eyes, Red Eyes, Celtic Guardian, and all that. Over in Korea, they actually got that as like a legitimate booster pack. Like, you get booster boxes of it, and you get I think 3 or 4 cards per pack. And they were really, really shiny. Like, they're almost like they're the same kind of shiny as like these really reflective fake cards. But you could randomly get these Korean exclusive tokens in there, and you usually got like 3 or 4 per box. And there it's a Tiger, Valley, and Statue. They're pretty cool tokens. So if you see these, I'd recommend picking them up. They're pretty awesome. The extra deck, of course, 3 Dragon Buster, your deck's boss monster. 3,000 attack, can play on your opponent's turn, banishes cards, and gets stuff to grave. Yeah, really no more explanation needed. Then for links, we are playing 1 Borlo Dragon. Just makes your fields even stronger if you can summon this and back it up with a Dragon Buster. Then you have 2 3k beaters. This can take your opponent's monsters and reduce their attack, and can't respond to it. So, yeah, he's your big link 4. Then we're also playing 2 copies of Decode Talker and 2 copies of Proxy Dragon. More often than not, Proxy Dragon, you're just using him to link climb into Decode Talker, but these will change once we get the Cleefort Link monster. Don't know when that'll be in the TCG because apparently we're not getting Link Brains as a pack. We're getting all the Link monsters dispersed out, and so far all we know we're getting is the Light Sworn, the Noble Knight, and the Metal Foes Link in Extreme Force. So kind of sucks that Konami hoed us like that, but what can you do? But yeah, main field to go with is like Deco Talker and Dragon Buster. But if your hand's like just even better, then you can make a Borlo Dragon Buster. So yeah, gotta play links for this deck. Then for our rank 4s, Baguska. If you can't make that strong of a board, you just make this and maybe like set a trap and pass. It's not too bad, but it still slows down your opponent because this thing's like skill drain and lose 1 turn on legs. Didn't actually make this all day in the entire event because all my hands were pretty okay. There were a couple instances where I did brick and couldn't even make Baguska. It was really awkward, but 1 Tornado Dragon for popping back row. Again, this also came in clutch for dealing with Time Pendulum Graph. That card was kind of frustrating. Also helped against I guess the guy playing Teller Knights because he, of course, played a lot of back row. And then also the Topia package for putting in lots of damage. This helped finish games pretty quickly. Then for our synchros, playing, of course, as I mentioned earlier, Black Rose Dragon just for board wipes. Didn't actually make this all day in the event, but it's just there in case you need it because it's basically a board wipe. You don't have to worry about hard drawing. 1 Ancient Fairy Dragon just for just a field spell engine, get stuff out of hand. Like, it takes away your battle phase if you special summon a level 4 lower from hand. But going first, that doesn't matter. But just mainly there for, of course, the Ravine engine where you can pop your Ravine and then search Union Hanger and activate Union Hanger. If you haven't normal summon yet, you can normal summon and get your Union Hanger combo going. And then just Link Climb from there. But thankfully picked up the ulti at the event, so I was able to switch that out from the Ultra I was playing with. So, yeah, this card looks really cool. And then the last one card, the tech I was talking about, is Samurai Destroyer. I haven't really seen like too many people play this in ABCs, and honestly, it's a really great card to play in this deck. Like, it was basically made for Destrudo ABCs. It's a level 7 synchro. It takes a tuner and 1 non-tuner monster. But if you don't know what this card does, basically it's like an Armades. Whenever it battles an opponent's monster, they can't activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step and it negates that monster's effect during the battle phase. So it's actually helped on the mirror in the 1 game I won against him. You can run over the ABC piece and the piece won't trigger because it activates during the battle phase. And then if he leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, you can special summon a machine from grave. So yeah, pretty awesome card. If you don't have the hand to actually like make Fairy Dragon, you can just make this and sit on it. This actually did help against the guy playing Invoke True Draco. Just sat on this anti-spell Fragrance and slowly beat him down for game, and then we went on to game 3. And that's when he cherries me, and then I cried. Not literally, but cried on the inside, because then I couldn't make my boss monster. Now moving on to the side deck that was thrown together at last minute, but the logic behind it. 2 copies of Artifact Lancia. This is mainly for like trick stars and stuff because of course they're going to try and like banish your hand. So if you open with this, you just discard it and then they can't banish your hand. But this also was to help against, of course, as mentioned earlier, Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, because a lot of people that came with my group from locals was citing a lot of Cherries targets, like Double Helix, Dragon Buster, Seraphonite, just a lot of different stuff. So this is just there to kind of help me keep from getting hit by Cherries, but I only saw 1 person playing Cherries all day and didn't have this, and feels bad, man. 2 Dankos for those back row heavy decks. This actually did help against the guy playing Teller Knights. Like, this was just in case I saw like the random Paleos. Didn't see too many of those actually at the event, but the 2 did help whenever you needed it. And then the Kaiju package. 4 Kaijus and Kaiju Slumber. Didn't actually really see a reason to side these in. The only really time I could possibly, like, potentially would have sided these was against the ABC mirror, but he opted for me to go first, so that was kind of pointless to side in the Kaijus at that point, but they were there just in case you needed to deal with annoying boss monsters. 3 anti-spells. This was probably like my favorite side deck card of the event. basically like a win condition against Pendulum Magicians, to where if you can make like Dragon Buster or some kind of synchro, and then you just flip this, and then they really can't play at that point. So yeah, this card's awesome for that aspect, and a lot of people are calling for this card to be banned, and honestly it doesn't need to be. It's just another floodgate. It's kind of a necessary evil in the game. 3D barriers also hits Pendulum Magicians. It was good against Tellers, because I ended up making a field of Dragon Buster and this in a strike set. I ended up using the strike and then flipped D barrier and called Xyz, and then he just really couldn't play at that point. But yeah, it's good for just random rogue decks that are heavily reliant on like one summoning mechanic. But I also had this flipped on meaning called Fusion, so I just made a rank 4 and passed, and still got that game. Yeah, that's basically it for the actual deck. Kind of fun. This is like my first regional to play in like a long time, just because the past couple regionals I've gone to, I've just gone for trades. But my matchups, round 1 was against Invoke True Draco, and he beat me 2-1. Then round 2 was against Pendulum Magicians, and that's when I 2-0'd him, because game 1, he made an okay board, but he had Time Pendulum Graph, but I had Cosmic Cyclone to deal with it. And then game 2, he just looked at his hand going first and said pass. And then ended up making Dragon Buster and Anti-Spell Fragrance, and just proceeded to win from there. Let's see, round 3, I think, was the kid that played Metaphys. And that's when it like really caught me off guard, because he was playing the random Fortress Whale engine. Round 4 was another Pendulum Magician. Of course, or no, round 4 is the, or no, round 5, I'm trying to remember, like we were all super tired during the day. I think round 4 was another Pendulum Magician, and then round 5 was, or no, okay, I just got it figured out, my bad guys, I'm sitting here like stumbling over myself. Round 3 was the ABC Mirror, round 4 was the Metaphys, and round 5 was the Teller Knight, and that's when I dropped after that. But round 3 was the ABC Mirror. The guy was like really cool, really chill. We both discussed like deck choices, and he was like one of the nicest people I've met at the event. Just wanting to sit down and like actually just talk about like how much you enjoy a deck. And some tech cards he suggested to me was like Barrel from a Different Dimension, and I told him I kind of tried that with Pot of Acquisitiveness because it was a 3 and it draws 1, whereas Barrel just puts him back in grave. But we both discussed why we like those. But yeah, he ended up beating me 2-0 just because he won the dice roll, and I'd drawn like a really like piss poor hand. And then game 2 I opted to go first, and again drew like a really bad hand, which is kind of unfortunate, especially in the mirror match, but what can you do? And then the guy I played with, Metaphys, he was pretty chill, pretty funny to see someone drop a Fortress Whale in Metaphys just because they can. But 2-0'd him. It was kind of fun seeing like one of those weird rogue decks at an event, and then just see like a tournament pack ritual monster just dropped on you just because it's big. So all in all, I had fun at the event, even though I dropped. Went back to just trading afterwards and got some pretty cool stuff. Just a lot of like random collection cards, some stuff I needed for decks, things like that. But all in all, I had a fun time just going with friends to and out-of-state regionals just to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And do trades and stuff. But yeah, that was basically it for the deck profile. I do have a couple like more fun decks to show you guys later, but this is just the one I played for the event and kind of like just threw together last minute and kind of worked out okay. But yeah, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and as always, I will catch you guys later.